Hey everyone, this is Jesse here. I'm sorry I haven't been on YouTube very much and I haven't uploaded anything for a while, but I've been kind of busy looking for work and promoting my books. But here's the final part of Chapter 1, Trouble with Thunderstorms. Joshua and Tony have made their way down from the top of the third floor to the first floor, and it looks like they're home free until something catches Joshua's eye. He sees three large black vehicles through the clear glass doors that lead outside. The people that got out of them look very intimidating, dressed head to toe in pristine black suits, and each of them brandishing one very large silver revolver at their side that looks like it could easily rip through a person's flesh. He took one look at his hand and somehow knew that they were there for him. As the suits started toward the hospital entrance, Joshua quickly grabs Tony with his left hand, and the pair hide around the nearby corner out of the immediate view of the dangerous-looking people. While Joshua is clearly panicking, Tony is simply confused. He has no idea why Joshua is so upset. What's the matter, Josh? Why aren't we just walking out the front door like we planned? Tony questions. What do you mean, what's the matter? Do you not see the bunch of suits with guns at the door? Joshua retorts. Tony turns and pokes his head around the corner to see at least 6 people, 4 men and 2 women, in immaculate suits with silver guns at their sides. Something he definitely missed earlier, probably because he was so focused on Joshua's right hand and getting them out of there. Before any of the suits can notice him, he quickly ducks his head back around the corner and faces Joshua, not completely understanding the look of panic on his face he saw before. See what I mean now? Joshua asks. Yeah, no kidding. They look like people you don't want to mess with. That means something coming from me. Tony responds. Right. So how are we going to get out of here, though? Well, maybe they're not looking for us. We are here for the patient in room 3B, Joshua Matthews, says one of the suited men, loud enough for Tony to hear. So much for them not being after us, Joshua retorts. Well, technically they're after you, not us, Tony counters jokingly, trying to cut the tension. Yeah, very funny. Now about that exit. Let's try the emergency entrance. Maybe they haven't blocked it off yet. With that, Joshua and Tony double back and make their way to the emergency entrance, only to find that it too is now home to a host of large black vehicles and the suit of people that inhabit them. Not seeing a way out, the pair start to lose hope, until they hear a familiar voice call out to them, saying the words, "Over here, this way." As they look around to find the source of the voice, they see a woman, far enough away that they could not see her face, but close enough to hear her voice, standing in front of a door about halfway down the hallway to the emergency entrance. This mysterious woman is waiting for them to follow her, but if they aren't careful, the suits will catch sight of them, and if that happens, terrible things will most definitely be in store for them. But this was the only way, and the only chance they had, and they need to take it. Although they have no idea where this door might lead, they figure anywhere is better than here at the moment. Keeping an eye on the suits' patrol patterns, they wait until they spread out far enough from each other, and they have their backs turned before deciding to finally make a run for it. As Joshua and Tony make their way to the door, the woman runs inside and disappears from sight, but they can't afford to stop now, so they hurry forward until they pass through the doorway, narrowly escaping detection. Now seemingly in the clear, Joshua slowly and quietly closes the door behind them, as Tony looks forward to see the woman down the hall, again far enough away so that they couldn't see her face, and again standing by another door waiting for them to follow her. They both call out to her, asking who she is, but all she does is stand there in silence before she opens the door and walks away. Joshua and Tony take a minute to process the situation, while looking at Joshua's right arm, now fully aglow with electricity, something neither of them had noticed in all the commotion earlier. The current had spread now to the point where Joshua could no longer hide his affliction, so knowing that they could not go back the way they came, and seeing as she led them out of one tight spot before, the two of them decide to follow her, and make their way down the hall and out the door, walking steadfast into the unknown. The 2 men are greeted by a breeze that feels cool to their skin, and pale moonlight shining down from above as they step through the door to the outside, realizing that the mysterious woman had led them out of the hospital, but she herself was nowhere to be seen. She's gone, and we didn't even get the chance to thank her, Joshua says, sighing disappointed. We can thank her later, by getting far away from here as we can, Tony responds. I guess you're right. So where should we go? The only place I can think of is home, unless you have a better idea. Nope. I'm fresh out of ideas, so home it is. After this little exchange, Joshua and Tony decide to make their way home on foot, seeing as they can't get to the company van that Tony's been using to make his trips back and forth to the hospital, thanks to the suits at the hospital's front entrance, and they surely couldn't hail a cab what with Joshua's right arm in current condition that it is, so walking was the only option. Unfortunately, their apartment building is about a half an hour away on foot, so it's going to be a long walk. Not to mention the fact that they have to try and stick to side streets and go through alleys so they can avoid the wandering eyes of the few people that were still walking the streets at this time of night. The pair continued to walk along, dragging their feet, until joy overfilled them as the top of their apartment complex came into view. The Ferris and Company Apartments. Relatively small, 5-floor apartment complex located in the lower income part of the city. The outside was painted a sharp light gray color, and a coat of clear paint was applied over top the gray to give it an almost metallic shine that seemed to make a usually dull color stand out more, but the paint job was the only thing expensive about the place. The inside of the building is rather run down, with paint chipping off the walls, broken elevators, busted hallway lights, and the plumbing is always breaking down. Luckily, Joshua and Tony are good with their hands, so they never bothered to call the super to fix it. It's not like he would actually show up anyway. Joshua and Tony both live on the 3rd floor, with their apartments right across the hall from each other, so the two of them are never apart for very long. And although they hate living in such rundown conditions, they take solace in the fact that they have each other. They even have been starting to get popular with the other tenants because they're such capable handymen, fixing the plumbing issues of their neighbors while the super doesn't show up. It was a humble laugh that the two of them had led, but little did they know that this would be the last time they would call this place home. Happy to be so close to home, Joshua and Tony pick up the pace a bit, only to have the wind knocked out of them when they turn the corner to find the front of their building crawling with suits, just like back at the hospital. The pair quickly duck behind the corner that they just turned and try to figure out what their next move should be. Crap, I guess they know where we live now, too, Tony states, a look of worry clearly on his face. This is not good. If they know where we live, they probably know where we work, too. I don't think we can keep avoiding these guys for much longer, Joshua responds. Come on, Josh, I know we can think of something. Maybe I can help, a woman's voice calls out from behind them. It was the same woman's voice that helped them escape before, and as they turned around, they finally got a good look at her. They now understand why her voice sounded so familiar when she first called out to them in the hospital. It was the nurse that came into Joshua's room when he first woke up from his coma, but she looked very different now. Her hair long and blonde, her eyes a brilliant shade of blue, her white skin silky smooth under the moonlight, and she wore a red and black outfit that hugged every curve on her body. As Joshua and Tony stare at her in surprised silence, the woman walks up to them and introduces herself. My name is Eva Evans. As you've probably figured out by now, I'm not actually a nurse, the woman confesses. What's going on here? Why are these people after me? And why are you helping us? Joshua questions frantically, breaking out of his stunned silence. Yeah, what he said, Tony adds. I know you're both confused, and I promise I will explain everything later. But right now, I need to get you out of here before they find us. Eva responds. Taking one last look at the place they once called home, they agree to follow Eva as she leads them to her car. A slick silver Tesla Model X, equipped with a silent engine, signal jammer, electric speed boosters, and a lot of other secrets to help them get away from the suits and their tracking abilities. The three of them hop in the car, and as she turns on the speed boosters and silent engine for a quick and quiet getaway, the electricity flowing from Joshua's arm feeds into the car, causing an increase in both speed and performance, ensuring a clean escape. After getting far enough away and thanking Joshua for his assistance with the car, she promises him that she is going to take him to a safe place, and that is where she will explain everything. He and Tony nod their heads in understanding, and then turn their attention to the windows, watching the world go by as she drives, trying to make sense of everything that has happened to them in these past 2 days. And that's the end of Chapter 1. I hope you liked this reading, and if you do like it, I'll keep going. Also, you can please buy my books. The links are in the description. You can also like and subscribe so I can keep this going. Anyway, I'll catch you later. Happy reading.